a cell phone, or I could afford a computer. Nobody does that. As costs go down, and it's competitive. And technology helps compensate for the inflation. But when the government destroys the value of money, then they get involved directly. I mean, we're involved in farm programs. So food prices are high. You know, and every time we get involved, it pushes the price up. And it's hard to solve the problem of medical care without dealing with that problem.
You mentioned food prices. Food prices are up 40% worldwide. We've seen food riots now in parts of the world. Do you think conditions are right for us to see food shortages here in America if things don't change?
We will, because prices, although there's a direct relationship with increase in money, devalue the dollar, and increased prices, there's a relationship. But then there is there's a psychological effect of why prices go up too. It's a subjective thing because people all say, oh, there's going to be a shortage of rice. You know, in the world, why? All the prices are going up. So we don't know what it's going to be next week, so we better go out and buy. And that just is fuel to the fire. And that is starting right now. I'm building a little building down at my home right now, and they're a month behind on steel. Why are we behind on steel? Well, people have anticipated the prices going up, and everybody is buying in advance. And, that puts more pressure on it, so that adds fuel. And that's why we end up with shortages, because of the distortion of the market, the lack of confidence what's going in. But the basic cause is the monetary system, but then the psychology works in. But it works in another way in that internationally, the people who have been receiving our dollars, all of a sudden, they don't like our dollars anymore. They want more dollars, and they start dumping them, and they may panic. And that's when you have runaway inflation. That is the most dangerous thing. What you're seeing and understanding about food, if that's applied to the dollar, and they panic out of the dollar, it's going to be very bad. And it's going to be a shortage of value, because there'll be shortage of stuff that you can buy with the dollar. Because people might feel, instead of buying, a loaf of bread tonight, I'd rather buy 10 loaves tonight, something like that. So, it might double or triple the purchasing of it. Sort of like when you live near hurricane territory, like I do. All of a sudden there's a shortage of fuel and the stores are cleaned out. Well, when you think of that nationally or internationally, it causes shortages and prices go up.
A couple more questions. I've got one more question. We've heard a lot of saber rattling against Iran, and of course Admiral Fallon has resigned now. Do you think there's a concerted effort on the part of the Bush administration to come up with just cause to invade Iran before he leaves office?
I think that's the greatest danger that we have right now. I see all this danger economically and monetary inflation, the recession, depression we're involved in. But probably the greatest threat to our liberties and our financial situation is the potential now, which is very great, of the war spreading into Iran. And they're looking for an opportunity, and there's been shots fired. There's some type of an accident, or some type of deliberate incident, another Gulf of Tonkin incident. Yes, there's going to be bombs flying, very, very dangerous. The price of oil could easily double overnight. People couldn't have $200 a barrel of oil. Because oil more than tripled since we've gone in there. It was 27, now it's 115. That's a tremendous increase. So to see $200 or $300 oil is not completely out of the picture. And there are some who believe that we have this moral responsibility to settle all the problems of the world in the Middle East. We are the peacemakers and the kingmakers, and we'll be there. And I guess some of them talk themselves into as if they're doing the Lord's work. We need to be there. And I think it's very, very dangerous. That's not a brand new idea. I mean, Wilson introduced that notion when he said we need to be in World War I to make the world safe for democracy. And we've been involved ever since. I mean, that was attitude is what helped create the mess we have now, because that's when they designed this artificial country called Iraq. It took three provinces of the Ottoman Empire and stuck them together. And the only way they could hold them together was through dictatorship. And it's sort of like when the housing bubble starts to flap, all they can do is keep inflating to try to keep it together. So now we have an inflated system in Iraq, and the natural consequence is that we're split up. But we'll do everything, war, fighting and killing and guns, and saying you will be a country designed by somebody that doesn't even live there. That's where the problem is. That mentality is what is liable for a lot of people who are probably well-intended, thinking, well, the Iranians are killing our soldiers, and if a ship goes down and kills 200 Americans, I mean, even those Americans today who are very reluctant to go to war, if you'd have an accident like that, I mean, the American people, Washington would, 98% of the people in Washington would say, gotta go to war, gotta do it.
You're saying the scenario of the bomb flying the old building, that could happen out of the region. You're not saying that necessarily will happen.
It could happen, what?
It could happen if there was an incident, if something touched
Yeah, no, I'm not predicting, but I worry about it. I think it's possible. I know some people would see it as a good excuse to do what they want to do anyway. Of course, I said that from 1998 all the way up to 2003 about why we should be, our policy shouldn't be regime change. That's when we changed the foreign policy of our country. It wasn't under Bush, it was under Clinton. Official law in 1998. It said getting rid of Saddam Hussein is an obligation of our government to have regime change.
Sir, I apologize. I came in late. I was lost. If you became president, what would you do for the people in North Carolina? Simple question.
Same thing I'm going to do for the people in Arkansas, and New York, California, and Texas, every place. I don't think of any representative being there for the purpose of having special things for a state. Because what I'm talking about is beneficial to everyone equally. And that is, I defend the Constitution, I defend the government, I defend the importance of the individual and a foreign policy that makes sense, a sound monetary system. And if we do all these things, we have a balanced budget, we have a stronger dollar, we have no inflation, we have fantastic employment, and great prosperity. But it's not designed to help the West versus the East, the farmers versus the businessman or the manufacturer. It helps everybody. So it is a system of freedom and liberty and the rule of law that would help the people of North Carolina and every other state equally. Thank you, sir.
I have a question regarding just the things going on with the subprime mortgage crisis, and obviously there are a ton of issues that contributed to it, which kind of all bundled up together and made it so terrible. But I think one of the biggest parts is that.
Thank you.
Please stick around for the rally. It's going to begin in 5-10 minutes.
We're trying.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.